You know the system is broken when the President of the United States is crashing out online, calling the U.S. Fed Chair Jerome Powell too late Jerome, or a numbskull. The housing market is so slow, the U.S. head of federal housing is calling for Jerome Powell to lower rates or resign. But here's the reality. Owning a home is no longer the American dream. That's owning a whole Bitcoin. Besides, with Bitcoin, you don't have to worry about what rates are and timing the market. The only thing you need to know and remember with Bitcoin is 21. In today's episode, we'll uncover Michael Saylor's new shocking Bitcoin price prediction that he gave after taking over 400 selfies with fans in Prague. The numbers are always insane, but Saylor always has a way of making them rational and making you bullish. We've got a lot to cover today. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Let's go.
I think we're going to be $21 million in 21 years. It's a very special time in the network, maybe the one time in the history of the network where you look out 21 years and you see 21 million. Specifically, I expect 21 million coins at a $21 million price in 21 years, and people ask, how's the network going to grow? It's going to be growing at 21% in 21 years. The volatility is going to be 21. The only number you need to remember is the number 21.
The only number you need to remember to experience the American dream is 21. And that's because no other number is reliable in today's broken financial system. The American dream for most boomers and others in this nation so far has been real estate. They think that they were smart and prudent investors that worked hard and saved. Well, no, it was really that interest rates fell from 18% to 0%. When you look at the numbers, they say that they're smart because they won. And in today's market, that still rings true. The boomers are still winning in terms of real estate. They still purchase more homes than any other generation in this nation. And that's why the U.S. head of federal housing, Bill Pulte, from Pulte Group, the family home building business, is calling for Jerome Powell to lower rates or resign.
He is calling on Powell to resign. Joining me now is the man himself. Bill Pulte is here. Bill, thanks very much for joining me. And you write on X, Powell is a main reason for the housing supply crisis in the country. By improperly keeping interest rates high, Jerome Powell is trapping homeowners in low-rate mortgages and choking off existing home sales, directly fueling the housing supply crisis. He must lower rates. Bill, what do you want to see happen here?
Well, Biden had this crazy inflation, and President Trump has come in and crushed inflation, Maria.
Right.
He still has interest rates way too high, and they're not reflective of the great work that President Trump has done. So Fed Chair Jay Powell, he either needs to lower the rates or he needs to resign.
If you go back to that chart, the reality is that only 3% of Gen Z is buying homes because they can't afford homes. And that rings true and will be even more true if Jerome Powell actually cuts rates again. The new American dream isn't owning a home. It's owning a whole Bitcoin.
The beautiful thing about Bitcoin is it has no politics. It just is what it is in its representation across the globe of the people who believe in the same value system, and you can opt out. And that's why I think for me, it's very obvious that young people now think of the American dream very differently. They're not worried about homeownership. They want to become whole coiner. Everyone wants to own one Bitcoin as like the American dream if you're a very young person. And many actually more than that as ways they think about, the popular meme of retiring their bloodline, but they want more Bitcoin that they can share with them, their nuclear family, their children. And that is a more powerful, I think, social signal than, hey, I have this white picketed home in the suburban neighborhood. It doesn't carry the same prestige anymore with young people the way that a whole coiner would, I think, in the future.
Like real estate before COVID, the opportunity cost of not buying real estate was pretty high. And the opportunity cost of not buying Bitcoin or getting to that whole coin now, well, that's going to cost you millions of dollars in the future, according to Michael Saylor. But you're going to have plenty of opportunities in order to get in because there's going to be dips, booms and busts in cycles. There will be volatility on that path to $21 million Bitcoin.
The path to 21 million is not going to be simple. It's going to be volatile. And so you're gonna see a volatility, and it's going to damp over time, but you got to be prepared for the volatility, for the surges and the drawdowns, the good days, the bad days. This is Bitcoin's annualized return looking back a decade, looking forward 2 decades. You can see that the network was growing faster when it's small. That's totally rational. It's now in the mid-50s. What do I expect? I expect it will continue to grow exponentially, but as it approaches hundreds of trillions of dollars, it will decelerate to the point where it's growing about 21% a year. Now, how does that compare to the S&P? It'll be growing faster. In 20 years, it's still going to be the best idea. It's still going to be the most lucrative capital asset a company can hold. It's still going to be durable, vital. There will not be a better investment in the year 2046.
If Bitcoin becomes 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, or 21 million, like Michael Saylor says, well, then you're not going to want to sell your Bitcoin. You're going to want to borrow against your Bitcoin. But how do you do that safely and reliably? Well, you work with the leader in Bitcoin-backed loans, which is Ledn, which helps you unlock liquidity in your Bitcoin without selling your Bitcoin. If you want a $2,000 loan, you post $4,000 in Bitcoin collateral. The process is simple, fast, and easy, and you can get funded in your account in less than 24 hours. The process is so smooth and fast that they have over 1,000 5-star customer reviews to back it up. Get started with loans at just 12.4% today, or for people who watch this and use the link learn.ledn.ao/simply, well, you get 0.25% off your first loan. Don't sell your Bitcoin. One of the things that you want to do if Bitcoin is 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 21 million is to make sure that you actually own Bitcoin and not an IOU to Bitcoin. And one of the ways that you do that, well, the only way that you can truly verify that you do that, don't trust verify, is by removing your Bitcoin from exchanges, removing your private keys. But you don't want to just do that willy-nilly. You want to learn how to do it privately, securely, safely, and confidently. And for that, we will recommend you work with the team at thebitcoinway.com. Schedule a free 30-minute consultation with their team at thebitcoinway.com/simplybitcoin. Back to the show. In 2046, we won't be debating what the best investment idea was. It was Bitcoin all along. It will be like investing into the best performing Mag 7 stock, except you can invest into Bitcoin as if it was an index.
Bitcoin's trending toward the performance of the best capital assets in the world in the conventional world, which are like, Mag 7 digital monopolies mixed into an index. It's trending toward it, but it will never reach it. And it will never perform at that level because it's always going to be better. It's always going to be more useful. It's always going to be less risky. It's always going to have the counterparty risk of a company stripped away. There's never going to be a CEO to subpoena. There's never going to be a labor force. There's never going to be the challenge of the supply chain. It's never going to have a tariff on it. It's going to be pure digital energy, pure economic energy. By then, it will be moving at the speed of light on layer 2s, on layer 3s. It'll be looping 10 million times a second. It'll be trading between billions and billions of nodes and billions of other nodes. There's going to be nothing else to compete with it.
Here's a great clip from Peter Thiel, who was giving a lecture about the best investments from the early 2000s. He talks about Amazon, Facebook, PayPal, eBay, and other sorts of investments that started off small and look contrarian. But that is the counterintuitive insight. You have to invest in something that's small and overlooked.
The first very counterintuitive idea is to go after small markets, often markets that are so small people don't even notice them. They don't think that they make sense. That's where you get a foothold. And then if those markets are able to expand, you can scale into a big monopoly business.
Relative to the other asset classes in the world, real estate, bonds, stocks, precious metals, Bitcoin is a really small asset that is overlooked right now by the traditional financial system. And that is your alpha and that is your opportunity. That is your Amazon, Facebook, eBay, or PayPal screaming at you in the face in 2025. Don't overcomplicate the trade. Stay humble, stack sats, spend less than you make, and pursue the American dream by owning a whole Bitcoin. One of the ways you can continue to stay motivated on your journey is by meeting Bitcoiners in real life. And one of the best ways you can do that is by going to conferences. You can go to the largest Bitcoin mining expo in the world from November 11th through November 13th at the Mining Disrupt Conference in Dallas, Texas. Use the promo code SimplyBitcoin for 20% off your ticket. It's always crazy when Michael Saylor gives a new prediction, but you can always get the alpha and understand the reasons behind this prediction by liking, sharing, and subscribing to channels like these, where we're bringing you the fire, the real, and we're doing it 7 days a week. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Happy stacking.